Welcome, Mirza and Sons, your one-stop shop for information and entertainment. Today we're going to be talking about purpose and trying to do what you love. And it's been a little bit over a year since my grandma passed, and he was going to share a story from when his mom came here and sort of how that went into learning about doing what you love and the importance of it.
Sure, yeah. So the idea behind it is first of all, I wanted to honor my mom, and it has been a little over a year, and I have been thinking about it would be great to share some of life lessons, and also how those life lessons taught me a lot about business as well. And we're going to do a two-part series. So the one lesson that I learned from her was about doing what you love. And then the other lesson that I will share is about focus. Okay? How do you get that focus? Okay? So I don't know if you remember this or not, but when mom's health was good, she used to do her tours, where she would stay a little bit in Pakistan, then she would go to England and spend some time there, then she would visit us. So that was her routine. So she would just do that circle.
Yeah.
And this particular incident happened right after we had moved to Wisconsin. Okay, so during one of her routines, right? So she came over, and and as you remember, most of the time she liked making us different type of dishes. She liked teaching you guys how to make certain things as well.
It was always pretty fun.
Yes, of course. Learning from grandma is always fun.
Yeah.
So during one of those times, she wanted to make this particular dish, and so I took her to this butcher shop, and she placed her order, and that particular dish required a certain type of cut of meat, and the meat needed to be cut in a certain way. So she placed her order, the guy goes over there, he gets the meat, and he starts cutting it. Okay, so, and she can see what he's doing, and she tells him, son, this is not how you cut this. You need to cut it in a different way. And the butcher's or the shop owner's response was that, the circumstances have made him a butcher. Otherwise, in his past life, he was something special. He was some big shot. Okay, conversation, and then my mom was like, okay, do your best, right? Okay, so then, we get our meat, we get out, and now we're driving back home, okay? And my mom turns around and looks at me, and she's like, so you need to start looking for a different butcher. And I'm like, why? To me, I was like, I was like, okay, yeah, the guy was, he didn't know what he was doing, but he's not that bad, I'm like, why do I need to look for a different butcher?
Yeah.
So I'm like, Mom, why? Why do I need to look for a different butcher? And she's like, well, because he's about ready to go out of business. And I'm like, Mom, he just opened this shop, maybe 2-3 months ago, whatever. So what do you mean he's about ready to go out of business? And of course she looks at me. She's like, I thought you were the business guy. Now I'm like, really? I'm like, okay, Mom, what's going on here? Right? So I'm like, okay, you got to help me understand this. So she's like, look, here's the situation. So this guy, obviously, he doesn't like what he's doing. Okay? So for whatever reason, he started this thing. He thought this was a good idea. So now he's in this business. So today, he's frustrated with himself. Okay? she said, what's going to happen is that now he's going to continue to carry this frustration, is going to continue to build, and then eventually this frustration will move to and start impacting his home life. He's going to start taking this out on his spouse, his kids, whatever, and so he's going to go start impacting his home life. And she said that's going to go on for a little bit, and then that frustration is going to carry back to the shop, and he is going to actually start showing that frustration to his customers. And then the customers, they always have options. So they're going to simply say, all right, enough of this, I don't need to go to this guy, and they're going to start leaving him. And that is going to be the end of his business. Okay? Like, wow. I mean, that's very, very profound, just a simple interaction. And she drew this whole circle for me that how this guy's about ready to go. And believe it or not, okay, within 6 months, it got so bad that, I continued to go there, and every time I would go there, I would see that the shop now had less and less stuff, okay? And it got to the point a lot of time that before I would even go there, I would have to call him and ask that, does he even have meat that particular day that I could buy from him?
So that's why you call every time.
Exactly. Okay. So then, eventually, the end story was that ended up being sold, and someone else bought it that actually wanted to do that, and now the shop is thriving because the person that owns it now, they enjoy what they're doing. Now you go to their shop, it's full of customers, you got all kind of stuff there, everything is there.
It's got those good tea things.
Yeah, of course. So now you have everything, and simply because now the person that is running it, they are actually loving it, they are enjoying it. So that was a great lesson for me, that I learned from my mom, that how important this is to actually do what you love.
That's really, that's borderline prophetic.
I know.
She just all laid out right there.
Yeah, she completed the whole. And the interesting thing is, I see it all the time.
Really?
I see it all the time. Most of the time when you're interacting with certain managers, with certain business owners, certain executives, you can tell actually that if they're loving what they're doing, if they're passionate about, or is this just a job? Because that's the fundamental difference. When you love what you do, then what it says on a clock doesn't matter anymore. Okay? Then it's really about, you're just loving what you're doing. You are after your goals, your objectives, you want to be the best. Okay? Then it's no longer that, it's 5 o'clock. That's what the clock said. It's time to go home, or I need to show up for a meeting. It's no longer about that. Now it's more about, I'm just going to be the best I can be. I can make my team, my organization the best it can be. Because then it's just because you're loving it. You're having too much fun with it. Okay, so that's the fundamental difference. Versus doing what you love versus just a job.
Yeah, I mean, that's really just great. Honestly, that's I don't know. That seems like something that a lot of people need to learn, just genuinely, because. I mean, as long as you do something you're not actually genuinely interested in, it's really hard to become a fulfilled and happy individual. It's like what we said in the last video about people and work are tied, and being tied together, you want that work to be again tied to the person. You don't want to feel separated from your work. Otherwise, you become alienated and go down.
Well, absolutely. Well, I mean, here's another piece, right? What you have to think about if you really, because here's what happens, right? When I hear this all the time, well, I don't have the luxury to go do something that I love, because I gotta make money, because I gotta put food on the table. I gotta make my mortgage payment. I gotta do this. All of those are fine and dandy things. Yeah, of course you gotta do those, right? But why should that stop you from doing what you love? Okay, you are going to let something as small, insignificant as money stopping you from living your best life? The reason is because there's two fundamental reasons. Number one, I know what I'm saying is that a lot of people it could upset people that, my God, it's easier for you to say this. I gotta, work, I gotta make money, of course. But there's two things. Number one, first know what you actually truly love doing. Most of the time, we don't even spend the time and think about what actually makes us happy. We don't even talk about that. We focus too much on how much money I need to earn to pay these bills, to meet certain obligations, social, family, whatever obligations. We focus too much on the outcome. Okay? Money is just an outcome of the effort of your skills, your value that you bring to table. So we focus too much on money, right? And we forget that you can still earn money by doing what you love. So number one, focus on, really ask yourself, okay, what makes me happy? Okay? And then the second question is, okay, if these are the kind of things that make me happy, then, okay, what kind of work I can do by doing those activities that make me happy? Because then if you can align that, money will automatically start to come.
Yeah.
And then the second issue is, it is okay to have a transitional job. Of course, you cannot run away from your obligations. Okay? Don't run away from them. Face them. While you're trying to figure this out, while you're trying to build yourself up where you can actually do what you love, know that you need to hold a transitional job that is going to pay the bill meanwhile. Perfectly okay. But where we get consumed is that we start believing that the transitional job is the way. I just need to suck it up and just make it happen somehow. Otherwise, I'm some sort of a weak person. No, just acknowledge that's a transitional job, and I need to work on building my skills, building the value that I can offer so I can do what I love.
Yeah, it's all about positioning yourself for that end goal.
That's it.
As long as you can get that proper trajectory and you figure out what it is that's necessary. It's kind of like that catapult thing that you would do with in the classes you were teaching. You give them, what was it? You would give them like a specific spot to hit.
Yes.
And then they'd have to figure out how to position the catapult, how much leverage they had to have, and then hit the target.
Right.
And that transitions perfectly to this, which is you just gotta figure out, there's my target, I'm lining up this way, I got this much leverage, and just boom.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all it is. That's all it is. Okay? So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, at the end of the day, I think for all of us, for you to consider this as well, it's just a self-assessment. There's nothing right or wrong. I'm not trying to say that one is better than the other. That's not the goal. I'm one of those people that the objective always need to be, how can I make myself better? How can I keep moving myself closer and closer to that ultimate happiness, to that ultimate calm, okay, that satisfaction, the internal satisfaction. That's what it's really about. Are you internally happy or not? And you have to continue to work towards that. Okay, so as long as we're moving towards that, life is good. Doesn't matter. Everything else is just transition, and there is nothing wrong with doing transitional work. But just know that it's transitional work. Okay. Second thing is, you end of the day have to start with an assessment, self-assessment. That is what I'm asking. Let's do a self-assessment and see where we are and what's the work we need to do to start doing what we love. Because us doing what we love, it will not only make us happy, better, but everything around us will automatically get better. That's all. Quite simple.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
said it perfectly.
Okay, so we'd love to hear from you guys. Share in comments. Okay, talk to you guys next time.